Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. So here I am, episode 5, out of thousands of them, but I mean, slowly but surely I'm going to make my way up to that milestone in my life. Of course, the fact that this program here will allow me to have at least 2,000 videos. By the time that season 1 is done, I know that I will have that many videos. And better yet, there are going to be multiple seasons here. After this particular season with 750 plus episode goes around, then I know I'm going to continue going on here. There's so many things that are popping up all over my mind. It's hard for me to really keep track of every single one of them, but luckily I do have myself slips of paper and the like that I'm able to keep notes on just to talk about what's on my mind. Basically, here's another thing that I've been really wanting to talk about a lot. James Duncan Rolfe. And yeah, of course, that same person who is responsible for being the overall owner of the YouTube channel Cinemassacre, along with being the nerd from Angry Video Game Nerd, as well as the BS human from You Know What's BS. And yeah, I'm saying BS because we all know what kind of acronym I'm referring to and what it actually means if it's not just a series of letters. So of course, those three things out there, you know that those come directly from this same person here, James Duncan Rolfe. Of course, this person is 39 years old, but still, we are seeing an immense growth of popularity. Just like what we have seen 15 years ago, May of 2004, when we saw the first and the second episodes, of which that they were completely unconfirmed at the time, that they were going to be officially part of some web series that we know about nowadays. Those were 2 episodes out of 170 plus that we've gotten out of the Angry Video Game Nerd. May of 2004 was when it all truly started, with 2 games, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Of course, those 2 games out there were just 2 things on James's mind that were considered some of the worst things to happen. And now, we see a lot more coming out of that particular series, with 170 plus episodes revolving around 170 plus subjects that retain to games that come back from some time in the past. Of course, it's just a wonder why the nerd is not really focused more on the present, but rather on what happened back then. I do have my ideas that I could give out to the nerd on what should be reviewed at this point, but at the moment we are already pretty good on what Rolfe had been reviewing based on games that have come around as well as games that have not yet been reviewed, but one day we will have episodes of AVGN that will come around where Rolfe will explain to us exactly what's wrong with these other games and the like. So, I mean, it's already pretty mind-blowing just how many things James Rolfe had already done. Of course, the series itself, AVGN, is a pretty big mind-blow. It is filled with some of the most iconic web series style sound effects, film effects, visual effects, voiceovers, guest stars that we could ever imagine. Guest stars like Macaulay Culkin, Mike Butters from Pepsi Man, and Gilbert Gottfried had managed to show up. Even other characters like Spider-Man, Jason Voorhees, Bugs Bunny, and some others from other television show and other incarnations based on media that we have all the time have also made a grand appearance within that series alone. That was one series that we could never forget. So many things have come around within just a span of 15 years, close to 15 and a half, that it's just become one of the most iconic web series of all time. Now, of course, to be fair though, there are lots of things that are really good about James D. Rolfe's words, in the way as the nerd. But of course, there's just so many things that I would want to talk about here. Because, of course, some of those horrible games that Rolfe had reviewed, we could pretty much just give some more positive influence on nowadays. Because they did at least serve one particular purpose, aside from being really bad because of things like controls, graphics, music, weaponry, and other things that come around, like voice acting, gameplay itself, storyline, plotline, climax, and the like. I mean, those are so many different categories that pertain to how bad some of the games are that Rolfe had reviewed. So many things out there have been wrong with these games that it was, of course, right for Rolfe to just go in and review these games, one by one, as well as the consoles themselves that they originally came from. Consoles that are no longer in stores, like the Commodore CD-TV, Amiga CD32, Atari 5200, as well as many other consoles out there that have become very popular, yet very rare by today's time. They are just some of the biggest things out there people can collect, mainly because of promotional value that Rolfe had managed to make just by featuring these consoles and games in Angry Video Game Nerd. Just like that. A lot of us now do feel some significance that the value of these consoles and games can be pretty good collector's items on eBay. We'd be able to have ourselves one of these consoles in our hands, as well as some of the games that will come with them. And we might even be able to play them, depending on the condition of either of them. But most of us just mainly collect them because of value, and because they are rare. I, for one, am one of those people that would collect rare objects and the like, anything that's rare or uncommon. So, I mean, it's no surprise one day I might pick myself up one of those old consoles as well as some of those old games. Probably not for the sake of actually playing them, but mainly for the usage of how valuable they are, and that they should be kept within for some time, until they become even more valuable one day. Because that is what some people like to do. Now, one more thing here about James D. Rolfe is because of how, well, I mean, of course Rolfe is 39 years old, but I mean, you probably haven't noticed a receding hairline that had come around in more recent times. That's just something I can't really avoid staring at a lot. So, I mean, it's a common thing out there for people to have. Hair loss develops in at least 60% of all people nowadays. But James D. Rolfe's case is quite unique. It just shows that Rolfe's hairline is quite a big trademark to how the past had really been getting to us. It had become so bad that it caused most of our hair to drop off of our head. Some of it would turn gray. And yes, stress does of course cause some hair to either be lost, or it can cause some of it to become gray. I can't really tell how super relevant it would be now, but I mean, James D. Rolfe is someone who I've been a really big fan of for more than 11 years now. And I will no doubt have a lot of fan base associated with Rolfe for a long time now. So, that's pretty much just all of that I've got there. But now, I'm pretty much just going to continue on going on ahead with Honest J. Nowak, seeing how many things I'm going to have in my mind in general. If you want to see more go down on my channel though, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.